Right now, as you watch this video, entire galaxies are disappearing from our universe. People think the universe is a static museum. They think if you build a telescope big enough, you can look up and see the entire history of the cosmos, forever. Wrong. Not a little wrong. Fundamentally, terrifyingly wrong. Here is the truth. The universe is actively deleting its own past. Every single second, thousands of stars and ancient galaxies are pushed past a physical boundary, blinking out of our reality permanently. No signal, no light, no information from them will ever reach us again. You have felt this kind of loss before. Think of a childhood memory fading, an old friend whose face you can't quite picture. You know they existed, but the connection is severed. Our cosmos is doing exactly that. The night sky is not a permanent record. It is a vanishing act. And we happen to be living in the exact moment before the greatest cosmic magic trick is complete. Let me show you. Stop. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine you stand on a beach at midnight. You hold a tiny flashlight. You point it at the ocean. The beam cuts through the dark. Now, imagine the ocean is expanding. The water is stretching away from you faster than your light can travel. What happens to the boats out there? They don't sink. They simply slip beyond the reach of your light. They enter a zone of absolute mathematical invisibility. Here's the part nobody tells you about the night sky. Those boats are galaxies. The beach is Earth, and your flashlight is the speed of light itself. Most textbooks skip this part. I won't. We are trapped inside a cosmic bubble. We call it the observable universe. But the edges aren't made of glass. They are made of time. And that time is strictly limited. To truly understand why the universe actively deletes its own history, we must first realize that everything you see above you is an absolute illusion. Are you ready? Let us break your reality right now. Look up at the stars tonight. You think you are seeing the universe as it is? Wrong. You are seeing the universe as it was. Try this. Hold your hand near your face. Look at your palm. You aren't seeing your hand right now. You are seeing your hand a tiny fraction of a nanosecond in the past. Why? Because light must physically travel. It must bounce off your skin, push through the air, and hit the back of your eye. It is incredibly fast, but it is not instant. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. Zoom out. Look at the moon. You see it 1.3 seconds ago. Look at the sun 8 minutes ago. If the sun exploded right now, violently shattering into a billion pieces, we wouldn't know. We would happily walk around for 8 minutes in bright, warm, oblivious ignorance. Wait, think about that. People say the universe is vast, but that's just a label. The universe isn't merely a large room. It is a delay, a massive, inescapable cosmic lag. Now watch what this implies for everything you know. When you look at the Andromeda Galaxy, a faint smudge in a dark sky, you are looking back 2.5 million years. You are seeing light that started its journey across the freezing void before modern humans even existed. Our ancestors were barely walking upright when those exact photons began rushing toward Earth. The night sky is not a live broadcast. It is a graveyard of ghosts. Many of the brightest stars you see, they are already dead, snuffed out, collapsed into black holes, or blown to dust millions of years ago. But their final flash of light is still flying through the dark. It hits your retina right now, like a postcard from a dead sender. Beautiful, but isolating. We live trapped inside a sphere of old information. We are completely disconnected from the actual now of the deep cosmos. But this cosmic lag isn't just a quirk of astronomy. It relies on a strict, unbreakable law, the absolute speed limit of reality. And that speed limit is exactly why the universe will soon betray us. Because the fabric of space itself is about to cheat. What happens when emptiness moves faster than light? Let me ask you a question. What is the speed of light? Most people say it's just how fast a photon travels through empty space, a cosmic speedometer maxing out at 186,000 miles per second. Wrong. People say that, but that's just a label. The speed of light has almost nothing to do with light itself. Light just happens to be the most famous thing that travels at that speed. So what is it? Stop. Think about this deeply. It is the speed of causality, the speed of reality itself. It is the maximum rate at which one piece of the universe can reach out, touch, push, or influence another piece of the universe. If you snap your fingers, you create a tiny vibration, a physical wobble in the air. That wobble travels outward. Gravity does the exact same thing. If the sun magically vanished, Earth wouldn't instantly fly off into deep space. We would continue orbiting empty space for exactly 8 minutes. Why? Because the absence of gravity ripples outward at the exact same speed limit. The snap of the missing sun takes 8 minutes to push our planet. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. Nothing, no object, no signal, no force, can move through space faster than this absolute limit. Space enforces this rule violently. Try to accelerate a spaceship closer to this speed limit, and reality pushes back. You get heavier. Time slows down. The universe literally warps to prevent you from breaking the rule. So far, we've learned 2 things. First, looking up means looking back in time. Second, the speed of light is the absolute, unbreakable speed limit of information, right? Exactly. But here is the terrifying loophole. The rule only says nothing can move through space faster than light. It says absolutely nothing about what happens to space itself. That sounds impossible, until you see the mathematical trick. What if the track itself starts stretching? What if the empty void between 2 galaxies suddenly decides to swell, expanding in every direction? If the space between us grows, the distance increases. No one is moving through space, but the gap gets wider, and space doesn't have a speed limit. Empty vacuum can stretch as violently and rapidly as it wants. So, what happens when the very stage you are standing on stretches faster than the actors can run? Let's find out. Look around the room you are sitting in right now. The walls, the floor, the air between you and the screen. It feels solid, fixed. Wrong. Every millimeter of empty space in that room is trying to stretch. It is trying to physically push the walls apart. You don't feel it because the gravity of Earth and the electromagnetic grip of your atoms are overwhelmingly stronger. They hold your room together. They snap back. But zoom out, way out. Leave the Earth, leave the Milky Way. Go out into the freezing, absolute void of deep intergalactic space. Out here, gravity is a weak, pathetic whisper. And out here, space is winning. People say the universe is expanding, but that's just a label. They picture a bomb going off, shrapnel flying outward from a center point. Stop. Erase that image. There is no center. There is no edge the universe expands into. Space isn't the box holding objects. Space is the thing that is growing. Try this. Imagine you are an ant standing on a giant rubber band. Another ant stands exactly 1 inch away. Now I grab both ends of the rubber band and pull, hard. You aren't walking. The other ant isn't walking. You both just stand there. But suddenly the distance between you is 2 inches, then 4, then 10. Here's the part nobody tells you. The space itself is generating more space. You didn't move through the space just duplicated. Now replace the ants with entire galaxies. Replace the rubber band with the fabric of the cosmos. Every chunk of empty void, about 3 million light years wide, is stretching. It adds roughly 42 miles of new space every single second. That sounds like a slow jiggle. But remember, the universe is terrifyingly vast. If you stack thousands of these chunks between us and an ancient galaxy, every single one is stretching at once. The expansion compounds, it multiplies. The sheer volume of new empty space violently pushes those distant galaxies away from us, like a rushing river pushing a raft. But wait, it gets much weirder. Because this cosmic expansion isn't just coasting from some ancient explosion. It is actively accelerating. The gas pedal is slammed down, and the invisible engine driving this runaway train is the darkest, most terrifying mystery in modern physics. What is it? Let me tell you about the 1990s. Astronomers expected the universe to be slowing down. People say the Big Bang was a cosmic explosion. Like any explosion, the shrapnel should eventually lose momentum. Gravity should pull all the galaxies together, acting like cosmic brakes. Right? Wrong. Dead wrong. When we actually measured distant supernovae, exploding stars that act like cosmic lighthouses, we found the exact opposite. The universe isn't hitting the brakes. It is violently slamming on the gas. The expansion is speeding up. Every second of every day, the stretch of empty space gets faster, harder, more aggressive. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. Imagine throwing an apple straight up into the air. You expect it to slow down, stop, and fall back to your hand. Now imagine you throw that apple, and instead of slowing down, it suddenly accelerates upward. It blasts into the sky faster and faster until it vanishes. That is exactly what the universe is doing. But why? What is pushing it? We call it dark energy. People say dark energy like it's a solved problem. That's just a label, a placeholder for our profound ignorance. Here's the part nobody tells you. We have absolutely no idea what it actually is. We only know what it does. It is an invisible, repulsive pressure inherent to the vacuum of space itself. It doesn't pull, it pushes. And here is the terrifying math. As space expands, it creates more space. And because dark energy is a property of space itself, more space means more dark energy. It is a runaway feedback loop. The empty void is boiling with this invisible tension, twisting and stretching the distance between us and the ancient cosmos. So far, we've learned the universe is expanding, and that expansion is accelerating. But remember our absolute speed limit from earlier? The speed of causality? Now watch what this implies for everything you know. If the space between us and a distant galaxy keeps stretching, and that stretching keeps accelerating, there is a mathematical tipping point. Eventually, the sheer volume of expanding space will outpace the speed of light itself. The empty space will swell so violently that the distant galaxy is pushed away from us faster than a photon can fly. Hold that thought. We're about to break a rule of physics. Can something really move away faster than light? What happens when a galaxy crosses that ultimate horizon? Can something really move away from us faster than light? People say Einstein proved that's impossible. Nothing can exceed the speed of light. Wrong. That rule only applies to objects moving through space. But what about the space itself? Here's the part nobody tells you about the night sky. Space doesn't have a speed limit. It can stretch, twist, warp, and multiply as fast as it wants. It doesn't break relativity because the galaxies aren't actually moving. They are just standing still on a continuously stretching rubber sheet. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. If you have enough expanding space between you and a distant galaxy, the sheer amount of new space being created every second will add up. It multiplies and multiplies until eventually the total distance between you and that galaxy is increasing faster than 186,000 miles per second. That sounds impossible until you see the mathematical trick. Imagine you are on a treadmill. You are running at exactly 10 miles per hour. That is your absolute top speed. Now I turn the treadmill dial. The belt starts moving backwards at 11 miles per hour. You are running forward as fast as you can, but you are still moving backward relative to the room. You can't catch up. The ground beneath your feet is simply moving faster than your legs can push. Now watch what this implies for everything you know. That treadmill is the expanding universe. You are a photon of light, shot from a distant, ancient galaxy toward Earth. If that galaxy is far enough away, the space between us is expanding faster than the speed of light. The light is trying to reach us. It is flying through empty space at its absolute maximum speed limit. But it will never arrive. The gap is widening too fast. This creates a boundary, a sphere around us where the expansion of space exactly equals the speed of light. We call it the cosmic event horizon. It is the edge of our observable reality, a strict physical limit to what we can ever know, see, or touch. Anything beyond that boundary is gone, permanently severed from our causal universe. And because the expansion is accelerating, that horizon is constantly shifting. So, what exactly happens when a galaxy crosses that line? Does it just vanish? Do we see it blink out of existence? Let me say that again because it should terrify you. So, what exactly happens when a galaxy crosses that line? Does it just vanish? Do we see it blink out of existence? People say we would see it slowly fade away into nothingness. Wrong. We would never, ever see it vanish. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. Imagine you are watching a movie. Suddenly, the film reel starts stretching. The frames get wider and wider. The light passing through them takes longer and longer to reach the screen. The image doesn't disappear. It just slows down and stretches. That is what happens to light when space expands. As those ancient photons travel across the ever-growing void, the physical wave of light gets stretched out. We call this cosmological redshift. Here's the part nobody tells you. When a galaxy crosses the cosmic event horizon, we don't suddenly stop receiving its light. We just stop receiving any new light emitted after that exact moment. But what about the light it emitted just before it crossed the line? That light is still trying to reach us. It is fighting against the stretching space, like a swimmer caught in a rip current. It makes forward progress, but the water is rushing backward. Because space is stretching so violently, the wavelength of that final light gets pulled longer and longer. A tight blue wave gets stretched into a long red wave. Then it stretches into invisible infrared light, then into microwaves, then into radio waves. The light becomes infinitely faint, infinitely stretched, and infinitely slow. Now watch what this implies for everything you know. The image of that galaxy freezes in time. It becomes a frozen, fading ghost, permanently etched on the edge of our observable universe. You are looking at a phantom, a delayed echo of a galaxy that crossed the point of no return billions of years ago. It is still there, technically, but its actual present self is moving away faster than the speed of light. Any star it creates, any explosion it has, any signal it sends right now, we will never, ever see it. That information is deleted from our reality forever. We are surrounded by an ocean of these frozen ghosts. And right now, this very second, thousands of real, physical galaxies are crossing that invisible line, leaving their final image behind before they are permanently severed from our universe. But wait, it gets much weirder. What happens when this acceleration continues? Are you ready for the punchline? Are you ready for the punchline? Because the universe isn't just deleting a few distant galaxies at the edge of our vision. It is coming for everything. People say the night sky will always be full of stars. Wrong. That is a temporary illusion, a fleeting moment in cosmic time. Here's the part nobody tells you. Dark energy is not slowing down. It is relentless. It is pushing the fabric of space apart faster and faster every single day. Right now, the expansion is only strong enough to tear apart the vast, empty voids between galaxy superclusters. But wait, think about this. What happens when the expansion accelerates so much that it starts pushing closer to home? Try this. Close your eyes and imagine a massive spiderweb covered in morning dew. Now imagine the web itself starts violently stretching in every single direction. The drops of water farthest apart will separate first, but as the pulling gets more violent, even drops closer together will be ripped apart. That is our future. Right now, our Milky Way galaxy is held together by gravity. We are also locked in a tight gravitational dance with the Andromeda galaxy. We call this our local group. It is our cosmic neighborhood. Gravity is still strong enough here to fight off the stretching of space. But everything outside our local group, every other galaxy, cluster, and supercluster you have ever seen in a textbook or telescope, they are all leaving us. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. They aren't just drifting away. They are actively accelerating toward that physical horizon of absolute invisibility. One by one, they will cross the line. Their final light will stretch, fade, freeze, and turn to invisible static. Then they will be permanently gone, deleted from our reality. No telescope, no technology, no matter how advanced, will ever be able to see them again. The light will literally never reach us. The information is fundamentally erased. Let me say that again because it should terrify you. The universe is actively erasing the evidence of its own massive scale. We are watching the greatest disappearing act in the history of physics, and we are completely powerless to stop it. The night sky is emptying out. The cosmic stage is being quietly cleared. So, what happens when it is completely finished? What will the universe look like when we are alone? What will the universe look like when we are alone? Fast forward 100 billion years. Our Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxy will violently smash together. They will twist, pull, and swirl into one massive, blindingly bright supergalaxy. We call it Milkdromeda. It will be our final, isolated island in an expanding ocean of absolute nothingness. Imagine a future civilization living on a planet inside that supergalaxy. They build telescopes. They look deep into the void. What do they see? Nothing. Just an endless, freezing, pitch-black abyss. Every other galaxy in the cosmos will have long since crossed the event horizon. Their light will be stretched so thin, so endlessly red, that it becomes physically impossible to detect. The static of the universe will swallow them whole. This is where your everyday intuition completely fails. Those future astronomers will look at the empty black void and come to a logical, scientific conclusion. They will conclude that their galaxy is the entire universe. They will think they are sitting still in an infinite, static, unchanging emptiness. People say science always uncovers the truth. Wrong. The universe is actively destroying the evidence required to understand it. Right now, we can see the afterglow of the Big Bang. We call it the cosmic microwave background. It is the fading echo of creation. But as dark energy violently stretches space, that echo is also stretching. In 100 billion years, that microwave echo will stretch into radio waves so faint they will be smaller than the background noise of empty space itself. The evidence of the Big Bang will be permanently deleted. Here's the part nobody tells you. Those future scientists won't just lack the technology to see the expanding universe. They will lack the physical possibility of knowing it ever existed. The history of the cosmos will be perfectly, flawlessly erased. Try this. Imagine waking up in a locked, windowless room. The door is sealed. You have no memory of the outside world. You would measure the room and assume it is all that exists. That is exactly what will happen to our descendants. They will live in a cosmic sensory deprivation tank. We are the lucky ones. We get to see the fading sparks before the absolute dark. But this raises a haunting, immediate question for us sitting here today. If the universe deletes its past, what has it already deleted? If the universe deletes its past, what has it already deleted? Think about that. Right now we look out and see a sphere of light 46 billion light years in every direction. We call it everything. Wrong. That is just our observable bubble. What if there are structures, cosmic walls, entirely different physical laws that have already been pushed over our horizon? What if the most important parts of the cosmos were erased before we even evolved eyes to see them? We will never know. The information is physically gone. Here's the part nobody tells you about the night sky. We are not at the center of the universe. We are just at the center of our own fading, temporary window. This isn't sci-fi. This is happening right outside your window. The universe is a one-way street, a massive, accelerating machine that creates space and destroys history. It is not just a collection of stars. It is a vanishing act. Every second you watch this video, another ancient star slips into the dark. Another potential connection to the deep cosmos is permanently severed. We live in a privileged moment. We are the narrow slice of time that gets to see the galaxies before they scatter into the absolute dark. We get to measure the expansion. We get to map the fading echoes of the Big Bang. We are the generation that gets to figure out the trick before the magic show ends. So the next time you look up at the stars, don't just see a static painting. See a freezing, accelerating ocean. See the ghosts of dead galaxies running away from us faster than light. See the universe actively deleting its own past. And realize how incredibly lucky you are to be standing here in the light before the great erasure is complete. If this shattered your reality, hit subscribe. We have a lot more universe to break down before it disappears. Stay curious and never stop looking up, because one day there will be nothing left to see.